The cryptocurrency markets wait for no one. You need a specific plan of action so that you know exactly what to do no matter what the markets end up doing. Hi, my name is Doug and I'm the creator of digitalcurrencytraders.com. It's a website that originally started as my own trading plan written down into specifics so that I could be really clear about how well I'm actually trading my plan. I started sharing it with others and it evolved into a course that has run more than 6 times now, and registration is just opening next week. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the big prices changes going on in Bitcoin and in the altcoins at the same time. And many of you, if you're following my videos that have been online since the beginning of 2015, you'll know that I practice trading bottom formations. I have a specific trading formation that I look for and look for and look for. And sometimes we see it over and over again in a downtrend, but eventually we see the bottom and we see that pattern shape up. And we can see that there's a lot of different markets now showing this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And I think I've done a video in the past called how to map out the pre-pump pattern that is shown in the charts. And I did this video back in January or February of 2017, just before the markets really took off in March and April. They were showing all of these pre-pump patterns way back then. And we're in a very similar circumstance now. And of course, everybody who's watching this, you likely already know that the altcoins have retraced all the way back to pretty much the prices that they were in March. And yet, not so many people are paying attention to the coin market cap charts that is showing where the market cap of the alts actually is. If we look at the 1-year view of the market capitalization of the altcoins, it's on an uptrend and it's going higher. And I forgot to change to a different view here. There we go. So the market capitalization for the altcoins is going higher while we are all seeing the actual price of the altcoin versus Bitcoin being pushed way down. And now, of course, that we see Bitcoin making another potential top formation, maybe that'll be the thing that pushes the alts up as Bitcoin tops out. But if Bitcoin's going to go up to become $1 million each, that's if just 1% of the world's gold holders end up buying Bitcoin, it'll push it to $1 million each. I think it's going to be much bigger than that because all of the world is going to be taking Bitcoin into consideration, just like Japan has recently. And Japan is now 50% of the world's Bitcoin trading, where the United States is only 25% of the world's Bitcoin trading, and China has dropped way back. So as the world picks up on more of these digital currencies, we're going to see an enormous pump. And now is the time to get that plan into place so that you know exactly when you're going to buy and exactly when you're going to sell, why you're going to hold it, when are you going to cut your losses, when are you going to add on to it so that you can make bigger profits. And next week, the course registration for digital currency traders opens. There's 5 days left for me to get everything all ready in there, and we're going to run through the entire course that is included in the book Cryptocurrency Rags to Riches. And that walks through everything that I did to change the way I was thinking about money, to starting off with micro investing with Bitcoin, starting with zero investment out of my pocket, and I grew that to over $200,000 by the middle of the last summer. Fantastic run there. Now I'm going to continue on by looking through some more of these charts and talk about the specific pattern that I look for. I'm going to give it to you all here, so if you're watching this video, you have my entire trading system. The trouble is that I could teach you, as a karate instructor, I could teach you front kick in, say, 10 minutes. How to pick up your knee, how to extend your foot, how to hold your ankle so that your foot can take the impact, how to withdraw your foot quickly so you don't lose balance and you use the snap back action, how to step back properly so you don't lose balance and you're ready for the next thing. All these things for front kick I could teach you in about 10 minutes. But it's going to take you at least 3 years of repetitive practice before this becomes habit for you and you get to be like a black belt level. A black belt is just a master of the basics in karate. And it's the same with trading, where I can tell you everything in about 10 minutes. but it's going to take repetition and practice and repetition to get this into your mind so that it's a belief that you act on without me having to tell you when to act. So what I do is I look for the retest of a recent low. So in a downtrend, I'm always looking for the lowest price. In an uptrend, I'm always looking for the highest price. And I look for the price to hit the highest and then try to come up to hit the highest but fail. That's a key moment. And you'll find that a lot of technical indicators also help you identify those key moments. So the technical indicators may tell you when these moments look like they're key, but they're not quite. Here's another moment here that looked like it was key, but not quite. Now we're again at another moment that looks like it's key, and every time it looks like one of those moments that it's going to turn around, you have to take action. You have to have that plan available in your mind ahead of time so that you know exactly what you're looking for. Then you also have to know when to protect yourself when it is looking like it's a key moment of a reversal, but it turns out to not be a reversal. There are specific strategies for how to put on your trade and how to take off your trade that are going to keep your losses very small when it's not correct. And then when it is correct, it's going to allow you to pile on your real big trade so that you are bigger when you are right and you're really making your profits. And those are things that we talk about all the time in the course. The course, I didn't mention, is a lifetime membership because this takes a long time to get these habits. It's not just a 1 month thing or a 2 month thing. This is a long time. So I made it a lifetime membership so that you are part of the family. You're always in the group as we go through this cycle. And as you can see here, sometimes it takes a long time to get a couple different opportunities to practice this cycle. So if you had learned about this back in January of 2017, you could have profited fantastically as I did through March until June. And now if you're learning about that strategy, you could be learning it in time to put it in place if there is another big bull run, which I am really expecting. All right, so let's go on with it now. So I'm looking for a failed retest of a recent bottom. And here's one where it made a low and it came up. I'm going to draw here. It made a low, it came up, and so this low I call the number 1 point. It's the lowest price it's been. Then it comes up and it makes a higher price but comes down. This officially becomes the number 2 point. Then the prices come down and they just tested the number 1 point again. So now we have a double bottom. Prices came up and they went a little higher here, so now it's a new number 2 point. Prices came down. I would call it a number 3 point now. And prices never did come up and break this number 2 point. We never really did get a full buy signal out of this. And prices came down. So now we have a new number 1 point. Then the prices came up. We could say here is the number 2 point. They came down, so we have a double bottom. A number 3 point, another test of the number 2, a test of the number 2, a retest of the number 3 point, and now it's actually broken above that number 2 point right there. That's an actual buy signal in AMP for my trading style. And so I would put on, according to my trading rules, I would put on 1/5 or 1/4 of my full trade that I wanted to do in this market at this time. And then I would sit back and wait. And what I'm waiting for is, I'll just draw this out imaginary. What I'm waiting for is the prices to come up, come back down, and make another little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. 1, 2, 3 bottom. And when they're breaking above these levels, like this, and they're retesting these levels again, I would be wanting to add on to my position. It's proving that the trend now is going the other direction. And as it's showing me strength, maybe even here there would be another opportunity to add on. So I'd do a quarter here, another half of my trade, and another quarter of my trade here, because the trend has shown that it's reversed enough for me to be taking on the risk that it has turned around. And it is a risk because maybe it hasn't turned around and this is a fake out breakout. And those are rules that, again, you have to have those stop losses brought up below your trade as you're getting a little bit profitable. And all the way through the trade, in a course, I talk about my trading strategies and when do I start taking profits in this as well, so that you're not holding the bag past the prime and you're losing all the profits you could have made. So if we go on to Ardor chart, this one is not making as nice a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation because it went lower here. And so it starts the whole process over again. But if we zoom into the 1 week view, now we can see a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And it's breaking above that level right now here. So here's the turnaround, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. You can see that wedge shape that is happening in many, many markets right now at the same time that Bitcoin is topping out. It's making a top formation. It's a potential top. And if Bitcoin is going to go up to $1 million, there's going to be some extraordinary moves that we just can't even predict. So at least a percentage of your money should be in Bitcoin and should not be taken out of Bitcoin so that you have like an insurance policy that you're going to benefit as Bitcoin does its run up to $1 million plus. It sounds insane, but a lot of these altcoins are going to do much the same. And Bitcoin's already proven it to us, so we don't want to miss out, right? Even if you have 20 bucks in each of these different currencies, if you just had 20 bucks in Bitcoin back in 2011, it's insane. So here's one that is coming to a near a bottom formation, but it's not a market that I'm really excited about, though it may go. Moving on to Bella coin here. I'm still in the drawing mode. We can see the lowest price. So we get a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and up it goes. Some people would draw it in this way and we can see a W shaping up here. A W formation. This one didn't have a W. It calved out the other side. So by looking for these W formations that Brian Beamish from the Rational Investor, he does a lot of videos with Coinigy. He also studied from the master I learned from, Ken Roberts. And that was back in the 1990s when I first started learning about this stuff. 1994 to 1998, I put together my trading system that follows this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation pattern. And then from 2009 to 2012, I practiced this pattern for 3 years inside a video game, RuneScape. And by merchanting on the Grand Exchange over years of time, I became a multi-billionaire in that game just from merchanting these patterns. And when I saw Bitcoin and I discovered cryptocurrencies, I knew immediately these patterns would also work in these markets. And that the pump and dump price manipulation tactics that work in RuneScape also work perfectly in these cryptocurrencies. Now, 1 week view, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up here. So we could show the W, if you want to call it that. I like to call it a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. That was the original that I learned from Ken Roberts. So this would be the number 1 point. Here's our number 2. Here's our number 3. It all combines together because you see a triangle wedge formation. And I'm certain that if I put on these exponential moving averages and lay over the price of Bitcoin here, as we get into what we were looking for there again, we were looking at burst, 3-day view. Let's go back to the 1 week where we were. Here's the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, the W shape shaping up here. And like I was saying, the moving averages are crossing over here as well. So we go to the 1 month view and the moving averages are almost crossing over, confirming that in the 1 month view in this, the trend is turning around a bit. Now there is much more time for this trend to turn around and really establish itself. So you don't need to jump in now. A prudent investor would wait a little bit, or maybe put a little speckle of your investments into the things you like right now that are making this formation. And then when these 3 month moving averages cross over, that's the time to put on the big trades, as it were. I'm going to go back to the default chart here. And I see there are people in the chat, and I'll say that I am watching. I'll just say hi. So if you have any questions about these charts, I'd be happy to answer them. Normally I don't have that opened up so I can see it. 1 month view of Bitcoin dark. This is a great bowl shape formation here that adds into this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout happening. And when we zoom back out to the 1 year view, it's coming off historical levels. a nice long uptrend overall. Really, that's pretty cool. So Bitmark, I don't have a lot of use for this coin, but it is making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation at historical significant levels. So as I go through all of this, hey, cryptocurrency pathfinder, I sent you your Litecoin winnings, right? I've got one guy from a video I did yesterday that I've got to send him his Litecoin. So here, what are we looking at? Bitmark, right? Let's go on to BitShares, which really took a pounding when it was delisted from Bittrex, right here. And now it's making a really long, slow bottom formation. It is a fantastic platform that you can do amazing things on. But the market, like everybody in general, is not flocking to it. So the price is way down. It's got 3 lower lows. It hasn't made me a nice clear 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So it could burst up, but it doesn't make my formation, so I can't trade it. And if it makes my formation, I sort of have to trade it, even if I think otherwise. Awesome. Glad you got that Litecoin, and we'll take a look at Litecoin in a second. I'm certain it's going to go up 10 times in value this year. So Burst Coin is making 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in a very small scale, way back at historically significant levels. So it's for me, this is a no-brainer to put a little bit of money into it. Zooming into the 3-day, the 1-week view, it's already broken out of this wedge triangle formation. It's already broken a bit above it. So this is sometimes where I like to put a trade on, where it's really the 1, 2, 3 position in a market where I just think it's time. Then I'll do it. And I did that in MadeSafe coin. I took 1.0 Bitcoin and I slammed it in there. We'll get to that in a second. I don't want to go through all of these, but I did want to show you and tell you my trading formation pattern so that just with this video, you'll have enough to go out and do that. And if that's enough information for you and you're interested in this, then the course coming up next week would be worth your while. I am completely loving the guys that are in that course and helping out and conversing back and forth in the forum and in the live chat. It's a great group of guys. I have a great time. I look forward to checking in every morning, keeping things updated all through the day as I'm doing my trades, as I'm doing this full time now. Do you go through all the coins to know which ones to pick? No, I go through them all the time, and I do my video commentary on them so that one day I'll take all those videos and I'll have like what I said about AMP this week, last week, the next week, all in a row, so that I can see week by week what was I saying about AMP as the chart was going up and down. What was I saying when I was right? What was I saying when I was wrong? And then I can learn more from all of those analysis. So I look through them all, but I'm not holding a lot of all of them. I have 3 or 4 different main trading accounts because I want to trade different ways at the same time. So I have one main trading account that I jump in and out of most. I have another crypto trading account that's just buy and hold. Don't think about it, just buy it and keep it. And I have a little bit of pretty much everything that's on Poloniex. Then I have another account that's focused on lending, and it just stays there and lends. Though I do rate it from time to time when I want to trade. I don't have the discipline to leave it. Then I also have another account here where I'm trading sometimes at 50 times leverage, silver and gold, and oil, S&P 500, mostly just these markets here, using Bitcoin so that I am growing my Bitcoin while I am trading these world markets. So I'm not always into the cryptos. But it's the very same trading plan that I'm doing, the very same trading formations, the same risk control rules. So when I see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in gold and silver, I got to trade it. And when it's making historical lows and the daily, weekly, and yearly are all converging to a chart pattern, then I put on my 50 times leverage trades, which is insane. You just take a look at this, 0.2 Bitcoin times 50. Well, it's retracing back a bit here, but 0.2 Bitcoins times 50 works about $70,000 US worth of holdings in this right now, twice. It's insane. And I report on all of this stuff, wins, losses, profits, losses, whatever. I report on all of it inside the trading community because it's part of my own trading education. I created this whole project as my own trading university. So Decreed is not at old historical levels, but it is making a nice little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And since it made such huge moves before, I do hold a pretty good amount of it there. I am shorting right now on one broker. I'm short the S&P 500. That's the only thing I'm short right now. And if we look at the hourly chart, it's going down. We look at the daily chart, nice little 1, 2, 3 top formation. And if we look at the weekly chart, that's the top that's the top. We look at the year, that is it. That's the top. Since Trump was elected, here's our Trump bubble just moving along like it's mechanical. Now it's making a 1, 2, 3 top formation, and so I put on a short position. It's a small one, and that's at 10 times leverage. So now would be the time to move my stop loss to protect that money. 2591.28. So that'll just keep it from going into a loss, and I'll just leave it there and let it bounce around now. Later, when it makes a big crackdown, I'll close that position and take the profit. So I'm watching for the same thing in silver and gold. Same idea, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up here. We can see that on the daily prices have been steadily up, and we have a flat top almost going on here. The weekly prices, here's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, huge triangle formation. When we zoom back out to the 1 year, we can see a bigger sort of a bowl shape. There's the 1, 2, 3 bottom into a consolidation triangle at these historically significant levels. And if you look back to monthly charts that are not available here, it's even more exciting. And that's why I am risking this money to have these massive trades on here. But most of my money is in the cryptos. And I do hold a good bit of Digibyte, so I'm really happy to see this one coming back up because I bought in most of mine at 164 here. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation looking good. Often I'll buy at the number 3 point, which is definitely more risky. Dogecoin, I put a Bitcoin into that back here at 17 Satoshi. So I'm up a little bit now at 18 Satoshi. It's crazy. Looking at the 5-year view of this one, it's insane what the potential is on that to have 1 Bitcoin of it at 17 Satoshi. Way back here when I was trading for very little bits of money, it was a dream to be able to have a whole Bitcoin just to drop on something like that. Now let's go. I'm going to jump ahead over to MadeSafe coin because I did drop a Bitcoin onto this at 4,200 Satoshi. And it's doing good, of course, now. The thing is, at 4,200 Satoshi, it was pretty freaky to do it when it was right here. Down to these bottoms, coming up, down to this bottom, and I said, that's it. I'm in. So I took a Bitcoin out of my Bitcoin lending account, which I'm not supposed to touch, and I dropped it in there, and it's turned out well so far, and I'm still holding that one. It's nowhere near done. I expect it to come up a little higher, retrace, take some time, and I want to see that Bitcoin turn into 4. Certainly the MadeSafe coin is something that I'm a big bull on. I've taken a huge loss on it this last little while, but I'm still massively bullish on it, and that'll all come back. Folding coin was one of the coins I made the most money on this year, and I never would have expected it, and I was stunned myself when I had the investments I did in it, but the formation of the chart just drew me in, and I had 6 Bitcoin worth of investment in it, and then ended up making 8 Bitcoin worth of profit total out of that trade, and then took my 6 Bitcoin back as well. Now I'm invested in it big again. Again, it's at these historically significant levels. We zoom into the 1 month view. We can see that here's our number 1 point, but we can almost call this a double bottom. because from the 21st of March, October down to now in November, this really didn't skewer down hard as Bitcoin went and surged higher. So this is showing strength by not going down. That's huge. So now that we have this almost like a bowl shape and a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, a break above these levels is massively bullish. And the moment to be able to have this opportunity today is twice in a lifetime, last March and now. And while I'm going on about it, let's go to YouTube/Lumbridge City. For those of you who are new, because I have not been doing public videos for quite a long time, go to the playlists section and we can go to March. March trading, no, March. I gotta toast a bunch of those other lists. But I'm certain that this is on the homepage of the trading channel as well. But go back to March of 2017 and watch through all of these videos and see how many of them actually turned out. I made a list of them, and I'd have to say that 80%, maybe 90% of the trade predictions here turned out almost dead on. It's pretty freaky. And the amazing thing is now that we are in almost identical chart pattern, and the coin market cap of these coins is way higher than it was. And so I'm expecting that in 2018, we're going to be seeing a massive pump that was far bigger than we saw in 2017. Look at the 1 year coin market cap from March of 2017 till the peak of the prices in June and July. The market cap is actually higher now. And so I'm expecting to see an insane bull market. How's silver doing? Back up a little bit. Good. Let's zoom into the 1 hour view of this. I like to see that. Take off, silver. You're going to really do me well. And I'll update that silver trade as we go. Okay, there are more questions over here. What do I think about Litecoin right now? I bought another bunch of Litecoin the other day, and it's one of the reasons I'm giving away Litecoin right now, and I should do that. Litecoin is going to be very huge. It's what, $80 Canadian, I think, per Litecoin right now, and I think it'll go to 800. It'll go 10 times in value this year. And the reason is it's a trusted, long-established blockchain. It's been a coin with almost no drama. I don't know. I never heard any. And it's slowly being updated nice and quietly. Nobody's having all this these forks and stuff like that. It seems to be working along pretty neat. And people are using Litecoin as a base to be able to do a fork and change things to create their own currencies. So I think Litecoin is going to go up big time. And here's my 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. 1, 2, 3, and it's already broken above. Then it's a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that if it breaks above these levels, that's really bullish. And this would be one way to would be just dump everything into it because it's so great. And emotionally, this is what I have a hard time not to prevent myself from doing. I want to dump it all on and make the most I can. The more prudent way is to put on a little bit and add onto it when it proves you correct. Because often these are fake out breakouts and you want to protect yourself against those and have a long-term perspective where you can anticipate, okay, fake out breakouts may happen. We could go up and then it comes all the way back down. And I want to protect my money against that kind of thing. When I'm right, I want to move my stop losses up underneath it to protect that money. And I find it easier to do that on one broker than on Poloniex. So I look for a pattern versus a particular coin, absolutely. And so that I'm looking for that pattern in whatever coin. One of the ways I started out was, I'm going to see if I can bring this up, Grand Exchange Central. This is a charting website for the items that trade on the RuneScape Grand Exchange. So RuneScape is a multiplayer game that people play from all around the world. They're playing it right now, probably 20,000 people online playing. And you buy and sell items that are needed in the game at the central exchange. The prices are basically designed to work on supply and demand. And so if a whole bunch of people in the game are wanting to buy it, the price goes up. And there's no depth charts like we have in crypto, so you can't see what the buy and sell orders, but being able to find the spread and everything, it all works. So what I was doing with these is I was going into the rares, and starting in 2009, I went through all of these charts, all the fish, all the gems, all the everything. And I went through these different charts like the Santa hat to determine what is it doing on a long term. Where's the bottom formation? Where's the top formation? And so I would buy into these things at 200 million gold pieces, and I would sell out at 700 million gold pieces. And I became a multi-billionaire, but you can see that it takes 6, 8 months, 10 months for some of these moves to happen, even inside this game. So price manipulation happens rampantly inside this game. And I was teaching people how to avoid that and how to trade like a stock trader. And I was doing it inside the game because I had no real money in the real world. So when the cryptocurrencies came along and I could start with micro investing with little wee bits of money, I knew this was it for me. I was into it big time, full time. And I went looking for those patterns. They really do work. And then of course you can see them working in the world markets, and you can go to anything. You can go to corn prices and look over historical time, and you will see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, say in 2010, and then prices went way up and made a 1, 2, 3 top formation. It's there. It's in every one of these markets. And then once you know it and you see this pattern and you have a specific methodology of approaching it so that you can protect your money when you are wrong, and you learn to practice it, it's like getting your black belt in karate. It takes, say, a determined effort of 3 classes a week of 90 minutes of real sweat to actually change the way you are moving, change the way you're doing things until it becomes a reflexive habit that's wired right into you. And then you don't have to think about it. You can't do it opposite, because you would have to be under duress to do something against the way you believe in it. Right? So that changing your belief is the main thing at the beginning. And so we go over this in the lifetime membership over and over and over again. So you get the idea, right? You get the knowledge, and that's different than having a belief. First, you get this knowledge, you agree, it sounds good, but you don't recall it naturally. It doesn't happen to you normally without thinking about it. It's not a habit. So once you get this knowledge, it has to be turned into a belief. And you can take any knowledge and turn it into a belief by repetition, if it's good knowledge or bad knowledge. So just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and it'll become more of a habit for you. You'll see it working out over time. And then every time there's a big wave, you will have the knowledge to jump in, and you'll have the confidence to be able to sit and wait while it fluctuates, take the time to do its thing, and jump in on it. So if there's any more questions, I'd be happy to go over them. I'll cover a couple more charts that I am personally interested in that I think are going to go 9 times higher. Lisk. When we look back on Lisk, this is going to look like flatline. Remember when we look at Ethereum prices, and I bought into Ethereum in December of 2015. Here, December of 2015, 2016 is when I first bought into Ethereum, and I didn't sell it when it caught up to this price. It's in my buy and hold account. There's nothing for me to do with it because I'm looking for the 3 to 5 year plan. Look at this uptrend. This is way higher. It's above these old historical levels back here. This is a new floor now. It's making 1, 2, 3 bottom formation right now as Bitcoin is topping out. The sky's the limit on this, and the moment is right now. It's absolutely fantastic. Yet, it could be wrong, right? This looked like the moment right now too, but it was wrong. And so you have to have those risk control rules. You have to have that perspective ahead of time so you know when to cut your losses and get out. You know that you are the one that controls your losses. The market controls your winners. So as soon as it's at a loss, it's your work. As soon as it's at a profit, hands off. It's not your work anymore. Now it's the job of the market to determine how correct you are. So some of those philosophies take a long time, repetition, to beat them into for me, to beat them into my mind. And I started this in 1994 until 1998, and I quit looking at the markets after 1998 because I was so furious that I was making enormous amounts of money in paper trading by trading these, but I didn't have any money to be able to trade for real. I didn't have enough money. You needed $10,000 US to be able to trade the commodities market for a small little mini contract to be able to have these risk control rules work for you. And I didn't have enough money, so I set it aside and determined that I wouldn't spend my time at this until I had the $10,000 in order to trade. But with cryptocurrencies, you can start off with $10 and buy, 10,000 Satoshi worth of a coin, 10,000 Satoshi worth of another coin, and slowly start building them up as I did, starting from nothing, following these bottom formations, buy low, sell high. OMG coin, I've got some of it over on Bitfinex. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and there's a lending market over on Bitfinex too, which is great, passive income. Pascal coin, really surprised that it came down this hard, but now what an opportunity. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation right here that it's breaking out of, but even more than that. Pink coin, I was surprised to see how good this is doing, and I grabbed a bit of it myself. Pot coin, definitely going to go up from here till, say, April 20th. Saya coin, a really great project, down to historically significant levels. StorageX, wrong coin. Now it's changed over to this token. It's still a project I'm absolutely loving. I have hard drives that are renting out right now and earning this stuff for me. STR and Ripple are going to go through the roof. Look at this 1 year view of this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Absolutely fantastic. And when we move into the 1 week view, here's our little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, like a bowl change around, huge volume taking off from there. So there's the buy signal. And a lot of people have the same trading pattern. You can see that they are acting on that same trading signal. Fantastic. It's a matter of how you play it, even if you have the same trading signals as somebody else. So that's it. I don't see any more questions. I think that is a good introduction, that if you are interested in this kind of trading pattern, you can go through all of my historical videos on YouTube. Really, it's all on there. All the free stuff is on there. It's over about historical things, but it's the same pattern that I'm looking for. It's the same risk control rules that I talk about all the time. I've been doing this for decades, and it took a long time before I was in a position to actually turn it all into fantastic money in the bank, silver and gold coins in the safety deposit box. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm very grateful to have you guys here, and hope to have a few of you join us in the cryptocurrency course over on digitalcurrencytraders.com. Bottoms and stop losses. Bottoms and stop losses. I look for those bottoms, and then the stop losses, I'm actually, what do you call it? I don't do it well on Poloniex. I find it a real pain in the ass. I'm dyslexic. Right and left are hard for me. So limit and stop order, I always have to stop and figure out which is the limit, which is the stop. And what I do with rule number 1 is I manually watch those trades for the first while. And if I'm not right, I get out manually instead of using a stop loss. I don't like stop losses on the cryptos back over here because there's so many times that the markets are manipulated and the markets get pushed way down and then they just keep going. And it's intentional manipulation because too many people are trading with too large of a position and their stop loss too close to the market. And the whales know that. They can see it in the order books. They can see when to do it. So they have a computer that tells them exactly how much they need to sell to hit everybody's stop losses, chase the markets down to all their buy orders. They just make an enormous profit off those manipulations. And so I don't use stop losses on Poloniex. I only use them on one broker where it's less manipulated. And there's still room for argument on that. But the stop losses are just simply easier to use on Poloniex, on one broker, where I can go to each individual trade and put a stop loss in for that trade rather than all of my trades being all meshed together into one bunch of ownership. I find that confusing on Poloniex, where I buy something and I buy a little bit more of it. Now it averages out my price. I don't want that. I want to have, I bought a bunch at this price, stay there as a trade. I bought a bunch at this price, stay there as a separate trade that I can measure. And Poloniex mashes them together, and it's hard to do your profit loss calculations that way unless you're using a tool like cointracking.co. Cointracking.co is a tool that I recommend for everybody. Fantastic for managing your portfolios on multiple different cryptocurrency trading exchanges. Shows you your profits and losses, shows your total balance day by day. It is fantastic. One of the few tools that I go into every single day. I could go on all the time, and I do. I love doing these videos. I love chatting about this stuff all day long. So thanks again, and good luck in all of your crypto trading.